Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are tuning in from around the world. And welcome to Experience the Power of Love, Peace, and Harmony. My name is Dakota, and I am the associate producer of this show. So grateful to be coming to you all from here in Toronto. And please, share in the chat your excitement, share where you're from, share where you're tuning in from right now around the world. And welcome to our special conversation, which is part of our ongoing series on International Women's Day, which we have now dubbed International Women's Month. And we are joined today by special guest Elizabeth Reveley, and as always by our wonderful host Venier Wong, who I will introduce to you. So Venier is a Dao Chang master teacher healer at Master Sha Dao Center Global here in Toronto, where she is the co-lead for the Health and Wellness Program, and she is also a former director of the Love, Peace, Harmony Foundation. Her deep wisdom and unique skills in how to effectively apply the Tao healing system created by Dr. and Master Sha for chronic and life-threatening conditions stems from her profound healing journey, miraculously living with cancer for 12 years as she continues to live and serve in her life's purpose. In addition to this, Venier has over 25 years of experience in transformative leadership, social change education, organizational change, and effectiveness. She has led strategic planning, program evaluation, equity education, training, and capacity building initiatives for communities, public sector institutions, international NGOs, and governments. And Venier has also worked on vital humanitarian issues such as human rights, mental health, poverty and homelessness, violence against women and children, social economic justice, and gender and racial equality, which has taken her and her work around the world to places including Africa, the Caribbean, Central America, Southeast Asia, Europe, the United States, and here in Canada. And she is with us in-house today. Let us all welcome Venier. Welcome, Venier.
Thank you, Dakota, and welcome everyone joining us week after week, or if this is your first visit, we welcome you. So we're streaming from Facebook, YouTube, and live stream. Take the opportunity to ask your questions. Let us know who you are and where you are from around the world. We would love to get to know you better. And every time we're on the show, there's always an opportunity to invite you to ask questions of our guests. So today is a focus on International Women's Month. International Women's Day started 3 weeks ago, and we celebrated this whole month in recognition, in honor, in celebration, and more of all the achievements, skills, talents, and contributions that women in all our diversity, in all the different areas that we serve and live and breathe and care for this planet, about what it means to be a woman in continuously making gain on gender equality, for promoting and creating greater access to reproductive health, and of course, in transforming, ending, and healing violence against women and children. So today we have a very special guest, also a dear friend of mine, Elizabeth Reveley. So Elizabeth has so many accomplishments, but one of the things I want to just really emphasize and spotlight is her deep knowledge and wisdom and care in the modality that she calls radical self-care. She touches upon many aspects of the healing arts, body work, leading an institute and being the owner and director of an internationally widely acclaimed institute in Hawaii from the 80s to 2009. So let me leave that for a moment, because Elizabeth no doubtedly will share many of these incredible skills, talents, and her realization about where we are, in terms of women's health, and why women's health is part of women's equality. And women's health and women's equality is about human wellness and human health. Welcome, Elizabeth.
Thank you, Venier. Thank you so much. Well, it's really a pleasure to be here today. I am in sunny Texas. The sun has just come out for us, and it's a perfect day. I've been thinking about this for a couple of days, about the honor we have to discuss health in such a large venue where so many people can benefit. because truly health is the core of everything on this planet. Health intertwines with everything we do, with nature, with personal, with collective, with how our societies, form well. And so much of what we can offer today will go out into the field and literally be able to change the field, improve it, and create more positive health on the planet. So I thought about, well, what are the takeaways here? And one of the really big takeaways is for everyone to recognize and then take responsibility for their part, starting with personal self-care, which has been the core of my career. But then as we understand more about how the field works and really honor Master Shah for bringing all that through in such a practical, everyday way, that we recognize and then can share how much we each can do, and indeed how much we each have the responsibility to do, and how this ties in so perfectly with Women's International Health. It should be Women's International Health forever, because women drive healthcare.
Right.
There's no question about it. Women care for the children, and how we care for them is critical. In fact, UNESCO actually points out, because I've been working with some organizations on gross national health care and gross national happiness, and all these tied together. So we have to remember that we are the only mammal who does not instinctually care for ourselves and others. Every other mammal, excuse me, every other mammal has instincts that they shake off. They literally like shake, shake, shake when they want to get rid of something. And humans somehow we don't have that instinct. So we must teach. And women drive education, especially with younger people. And if we can think about how to educate and train our children to take responsibility for their physical needs, their emotional needs, their social needs, and to learn. And we have to also remember how learning and development and teaching of good values, all these come in to the mix. And it's wonderful to know that UNESCO is working with this, and is working with people all around the world, with schools, with children all over the world, with this understanding. So I wanted to bring this forward today of how important our taking responsibility. I guess that's the core, is that if we each take responsibility for our own health and happiness, and they go together. And it's so interesting to think about how they work together, that health and happiness is the core. And where does that take us? That takes us immediately into our hearts. So then our hearts become the core in our bodies, and how our hearts go out into the community in terms of compassion, compassionate actions. It all works together. And I just thought that was, the more I started to think about this, the more I realized how key health is to our planet, to our ability to have a planet. It's all in our health, and it's all how we perceive health.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Elizabeth, and welcome those that just joined us. Let me introduce Elizabeth. who's been a pioneer and an advocate for complementary alternative healing, and of course, all together about the wellness of the whole being. Today's focus is women's health in terms of celebration, acknowledgement, and focusing on how much we've achieved and how much further we still need to go. So Elizabeth is highlighting the importance of women's health is really humanity's health, Mother Earth's health, and more. So do post your questions or comments, and I'll read a few of them a little bit later. And so, Elizabeth, I wanted to ask you this question. I was thinking, in many times we've had conversations about compassionate care hubs all over the planet, yes? And to me, that's an extension of what you're saying, creating spaces, community gatherings, or organizational structures that can support, facilitate, and radiate compassionate care. So going back to one of the things you were talking about the gathering and the community, women in many traditional societies, including ours, which is technology-driven, industrialized Western society, still are the core to the family, however we define family, right? But, I was thinking what you were saying, because many of us have given up our power in terms of health, and we've externalized care, as a medical system. How do we interact with that? We've externalized our ability to tap into our inner being or energy and given way to supplements, green drinks, and medicine. Not that that's wrong. It just augments what we need to do. Somewhere along the line, as we so-called industrialized in Western nations, moved away from those healing arts that you're talking about. I'm wondering if you can hone in on something specific to share with our readers and, of course, people are reading, but our listeners on what that is, because it may not be so obvious to people. So what in your
I think
work
the
in healing
first
arts?
thing,
Mhm.
well, one of the things literally is if we look at how to take responsibility for our own health care, understanding that when we take responsibility, that goes out in a web through not only through the field, but also from family member to community. And when we take responsibility, the first thing is to breathe well. So in my school, we had three things, and it's so interesting how they match with what Master Sha teaches. So our first three, life or death, was breath, water,
Mhm.
and gratitude. So clearly we need to breathe and have water, but what we forget is that not everyone can breathe well or has clean air to breathe. And what we've discovered with the well in Africa that we've been working on with Love, Peace, and Harmony, and thanks to Queen Diambi and Master Sha's connection, is not everyone has water. And on the other hand, those of us that do have water have a less than challenge or a less than supportive, let's say, attitude to water. We waste water all the time.
Right.
So if we just think about how to breathe well so that our whole body is breathing, so that we're conscious of breathing up our chi channel and focusing our breath to drive the chi channel so it moves continuously, that alone would change our health. And if we drink plenty of water and at the same time don't waste water, like we don't need to leave the water running. We don't need to leave the water running when we're brushing our teeth. And if we're just conscious of how everything we do impacts everyone on this planet and every soul, literally. So we're talking nature and every other human and animal. So there's several points here. One is just awareness.
Mm-hmm.
And if we just could be aware, that would change everything, Venier. I think just awareness. I think and awareness has to do with how we treat other people It has to do how we go forward with gratitude. So I'm sticking with with breath, water, and gratitude.
Thank you, Elizabeth. So everyone, these are key phrases that have a healing message. In Masha tradition, everything carries Shen Qi Jing, soul, heart, consciousness, which is our mind, energy, matter. So Elizabeth is sharing with us those three sentences. Okay, do let us know if you have any questions. I know Elizabeth would be more than happy to answer any of your questions. Let me just acknowledge people who are sending lots of love and gratitude for the talk and for our special guest. Renaya has lots of hearts. Isabel is saying hello, everyone. Hello, Elizabeth. Vaval Coralie, welcome. Anita Shaw from London, England. Vancouver. Ruth Ann from Hawaii, aloha to you. And Ruena and Isabel Banako. Okay, welcome, Beth Weaver. And if you are posting in the live stream, we'll also go back to that particular platform momentarily. So, Elizabeth, thinking about what you're saying right now and about, when you started decades ago, I honor you, body massage, but taking it more than massage, right? The integration of the spiritual body, mental, and emotional. And you're honing it down right now, which is women's health is humanity's health, is Mother Earth's health. What is it that when you reflect back on those decades of work and where you are now, the women in your life, perhaps not so famous, not so well known, that inspired you or mentored you, and you want to give a shout out, and why?
That's a good question. So most of my teachers have been women. And I think that's because women go out with that intention, like we can feel in our hearts that it's up to us to share what we know with a younger generation, whether it's our children or grandchildren or someone else's. One thing that really shifted during my tenure at the school was where the student body all of a sudden in the early 2000s became younger people. So became an incentive for younger people, a recognition that they didn't want to go to college and get into that whole kind of educational, product that was being offered in our universities. They could feel that in their hearts they wanted to do something and give back.
Right.
So in terms of like the women, I almost think it's like all women. I can't even, my mind isn't going to one person. It's more going to the global understanding that women share and how we have forever come together over a coffee and
So we may have lost Elizabeth temporarily, everyone, and she might be able to rejoin us momentarily. So let me take a moment now and just
way better each other.
Oh.
So I'm
Elizabeth,
I think, yes.
You cut off for just 10 seconds. If you can kindly recap that. It froze and we didn't hear you.
Sure. Okay. So going back to the instinctual knowing that women have, that compassion is key. And that as we come together to share, it's our jobs. We just know that men have different jobs. They have a different understanding. So I would just like to praise all women for that, for the way that we know and show up for each other, for our children, for the planet, like every day. And we somehow know that we need to put gratitude and each other and graciousness and kindness forward. We somehow know that, kind of complaining or haranguing about other things doesn't help us at all. So I guess that's my answer.
Okay, thank you.
Venier.
I actually understand what you're saying because I've been so privileged and blessed to be in spaces for women only or in mixed spaces. It's just the nature of the topic, right? For example, I did a lot of work in violence against women and children, so it's natural those are circles with women that may have experienced sexual assault or incest or more. And how empowering it is to have a peer support environment, right? To be able to talk about these issues as a form of healing, right? We need to acknowledge as a
Yes,
form of
yes.
healing. But what we didn't have, what I didn't have access to at the time, although, you know, my wonderful Indigenous sisters and brothers had other restorative healing tools, but it wasn't part of the mainstream or what was easily available in the women's movement. And that has to do with the power of what Master Sha is teaching, right? Which is spiritual, energetic source field. Everything and everyone has a field, according to Tao science and quantum healing. But how can we tap into it to change? I'm wondering, Elizabeth, some people may not know you. If you'd like to share with us some of the important work that you and Dr. Greg did at the hospital in Texas and what you brought to those groups of patients to help, you know, bring the healing to their physical body. They were in hospital because they needed care, but how the tools of love, peace, and harmony, and any other tool in terms of calligraphy and more, help bring that restorative healing faster to those clients.
Thank you, Venier. I think that was important. But let me jump to today because we just opened a clinic in Texas. So we're back in Texas, where there's pretty much miraculous healing. And there is a protocol, but that protocol is also being used at a clinic in Utah and a clinic in Georgia. And our numbers are more than twice what these other clinics are doing. And the protocols are really good. There's no question about it. People are, after one session, they are walking out. These are people that after 20 years have been in chronic pain. I mean, serious chronic pain. And they're not perfectly better, but their pain is reduced and they feel better. And so many people, there's actually, this clinic now has 60 to 70 people a day running through it. These other clinics have like 18 and 20. So what is the difference? The difference is, well, first of all, there is a great human team. There are like 8 medical assistants that Dr. Greg is the medical director. So somehow we attracted these amazing women. And in his office, there is a Da'ai, and I have the Love, Peace, and Harmony calligraphies in my apartment turned on during the workday. So I'm still, and what we didn't know in the beginning of the first Texas hospital was we didn't understand and didn't talk about the field. And since then, we've come to understand that it was the field that does the healing. So I am saying now that it's the field that does the special healing in the clinic, given good protocols.
Yeah. Thank you for letting us know.
The field, and it's the field here.
Yeah. But you know,
I just want to like leave everyone maybe with one thing, and which is that they are all contributing to the field every second. So think about plan how you want to contribute with your thoughts and your words and your actions.
yeah, thank you, Elizabeth. So, you know, Elizabeth is sharing with us that there were many 3 components, right, to what's happening as far as the clinic work that she mentioned, Dr. Greg and his team and Elizabeth is supporting. Number one, excellent human team. We're still human beings in human
Yes.
construct. We need to radiate that magnificent service from our heart, the love and care. So human team.
Uh-huh.
And the next thing I heard her share was protocol. We do need protocols as a way of an evaluative way of understanding what do we need to adjust, what works, what doesn't, and the
Yes.
pathway to help the client succeed. And the third is the field. So we do very little in that regard in the three-prong approach to healing. But yes, absolutely. We may not all have access yet to a love, peace, harmony calligraphy field or a Da'i greatest love calligraphy field. But at any time and every moment, as long as we exist in any form, this is the truth, whether we're here on Mother Earth or in another field, galaxy, universe, more, we are intimately connected. And there's a vibrational wave that connects all of us. And that's, Master Shah said years ago to me, heal one, heal all. I needed to think about
Right.
that, But that's exactly what heal one, heal all. You're not losing anything. We're not really separated. It's the consciousness that projects this separation. So
Yes.
thank you, Elizabeth, for that. I'm wondering if there's any final thoughts. If we were to have this conversation again, 10 years in the future, and it's Women's Health, International Women's March, International Women's Month. Like I said last week, I hope in this country one day, in countries all over the world, there's an international day of a statutory holiday just dedicated to honor and celebration of women, So that would be wonderful. So what are your thoughts, Elizabeth, you want to share with our viewers, our listeners, about where do you see this in 10 years? What would be ideal? And I'm just going to check the live stream while we're doing that to see if there's any questions for you.
I think that's an important question, and it's important that we all consider it, because what we do today will be what we have in the future. And the progress that we're seeing on all levels, if we think about gross national happiness now, which started 10 years ago in Bhutan, now is spread all around the world. There's
Right.
huge conferences all around the world. And that was like something people thought was, I don't know, they didn't have good things to say, but we know that that's become so strong. And why? Because people know that there's truth. So when we act from our truth, which is kindness, compassion, care for others and ourselves, first maybe ourselves, and then others, and then our globally our nature. So as we really go towards Earth Day, let's like keep this frequency going of understanding that how we act, how we think, every moment, our words are creating the future. So in 10 years, we're going to have exactly what we think and say and do.
Thank you,
It's
Elizabeth.
amazing to think
I
about.
was just looking.
So we have the power.
Yeah, you mentioned about Bhutan, and for those that don't know, one of the index that they ascribe to politically, culturally, socially, which is so important, is not just measuring how much human beings can produce. Yes, gross domestic product, how much pump out into the world in terms of consumerism. But they actually decided as a society and as a nation, they want to measure happiness, right? Which is amazing because it's a consciousness shift. And on Monday, I saw just a few days ago that they released the latest statistics from the United Nations Happiness Index. And Finland, 6 years in a row, is the happiest country in the world. And they had many indicators for that, Canada moved up 2 points. We're number 12. And United States is a few points behind us, number 15. So I want to invite everyone to discover these statistics, what people are saying around the world. And our friends in Lebanon and Afghanistan have the lowest index for happiness, but we can understand why. There is large scale conflict, war, famine, bombing, and war. And that affects people's health and wellness. And it affects women and children disproportionately. So Elizabeth, just here are some comments I'm going to read out to you. Okay. And no questions, but people want to send love. So I just want to acknowledge them. Maria Elena says, fantastic. Love this. Joining from Peru. Thank you both. Thank you, Elizabeth. Thank you, Venier. Chi from London. Love, peace, and harmony to you. Suraj from Singh from India. Hello and good evening from Delhi. Okay, Nalini Padini from London, Tal from Netherlands, and everyone is just sending love and gratitude. Okay, Elizabeth, thank you so much for joining us. We love you. Safe travels. Say hi to Dr. Greg and our whole Compassionate Hub family over there doing amazing work. Stay tuned, everyone. We're going to connect now. Powerful source field, make a request for healing and transformation. We could say, for example, to bring greater love, peace, and harmony to humanity, to bring greater love, peace, and harmony for women and children's health, for your own health, for a loved one, or for the happiness index for all people across the world, and maybe our friends in Lebanon and Afghanistan. Invite their hearts and souls to activate the song. Close your eyes, put one hand over your heart just to make a connection. Put the other hand just over the lower abdomen. Sit up straight, feet flat on the floor. We're making a connection to the higher realms and to Mother Earth. And just breathe in and out. Eyes are closed. Start. How? Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. So how means good, perfect health, be well. And it always means to me, peace be with you. We do it 3 times because we first want to acknowledge our own inner being, our higher self, our soul. We say it the second time, thank you to the outer soul. They're all one. They serve with love, peace, and harmony. Okay, I'm going to turn it over now, introduce our wonderful producer and Zakota Nesbitt, and he's going to share some important information with you about the love, peace, harmony donor recognition field. Over to you, Zakota.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much, Venier. Wonderful. So, Master Shah has created an extraordinary gift to our donors, to the donors of the Love, Peace, Harmony Foundation. And that is the donor recognition field. And I'm going to share my screen and share with you briefly this amazing field and the opportunity that we have to participate in it. So this, give me one moment. This is the donor recognition field. This is what it looks like. It's a beautiful rainbow light ball. And when someone donates to the field, their soul is immediately brought into this extraordinary high frequency and vibration rainbow light ball, where it remains for the entire duration of your donation period that you have donated for. And at any moment, we can go within and connect with the field and do a practice with it. And now I'm going to briefly share a video of an extraordinary healing experience that took place with one of our donors when she experienced the field.
Hello, my name is Yvonne. I live in Vancouver, Canada. When Master Shah created the Love, Peace, Harmony donor field, I quickly registered. I knew the field would be powerful, but I had no idea how powerful it would be until that night. I woke up from a deep sleep with an excruciating pain in my left rib cage. The pain was so bad, I had trouble breathing. Also, I was getting scared. My mind was frozen. I didn't know what to do. Should I get up and walk it off? Should I wake up my husband? Or should I just lie in bed until the pain went away by itself? Then I remembered the Love, Peace, Harmony field. I quickly connected with it, and within minutes, I could feel the pain easing. After 5 minutes or so, the pain went away completely, and I was able to fall asleep. The Love, Peace, Harmony donor field is so amazing. I'm so grateful for this opportunity to be in it. Thank you, Master Shah.
Wonderful. So what a powerful and inspiring story. So you're welcome to go to lovepeaceharmony.org if you feel like joining the field for yourself. And it takes you to our homepage, lovepeaceharmony.org, which looks like this. You scroll down to where it says click to join the field. You see this beautiful rainbow light ball, and that will take you to the donation page where you have the options to donate. Now, one more thing I want to highlight before we go is right here, we have our Earth Day marathon event, which will be taking place on April 22nd. And we have a whole series of wonderful guests in store for you, including Dr. Master Shah, who will be with us live on Earth, as well as a number of world-renowned people, environmental activists, and people who are working in their field to help heal the planet from the climate crisis that is experiencing right now. So this is an event that you're not going to want to miss. It's free, so why not join? April 22nd, please, we welcome you to join our Earth Day event. So without further ado, I'll pass it back over to Venier. Thank you, Venier.
Thank you, Zakota. And everyone, let us thank our special guest today, Elizabeth Reveley, and thank everyone who joined us live on whichever platform you're participating in, or if you go back and watch the replay. You can share this with your friend. Let them know, your neighbors and your friends and your colleagues. Every Wednesday, 12:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for 1 hour, where we bring guests from all over the world to focus in one aspect of our human family. Yes, and then we have the chance to be in the field, to meditate, to connect heart to heart, soul to soul, and to offer service either to loved ones, friends, the planet, and more. So peace be with you, everyone. Join us again next Wednesday. Keep chanting, connect with the message, connect with the field. We are all one. Bye-bye.